This is a tutorial on how to make half-fingered gloves using your pink Knifty Knitter Loom and their dividers, which are great for doing the fingers, and if you're making booties, it makes it to where you don't have to have the seam on one side, just the bottom. You'll need some yarn, and you'll need your hook, and your crochet hook, and your scissors, and your crafter needle, because you're going to have to sew up the thumb and in between the fingers. It's pretty simple after you get past the fingers, pretty standard, and then at the bottom you will have some purling in there. So let's get started. You want 8 pegs to do a finger. So we're starting with the first finger. So this counts as 2, 4, 6, 8. And what you want to do is tie off the end here. And you're just going to wrap it around. Push them all down. There's other ways to cast on. This is the way I do it because I can tighten it later on a lot tighter than some of the other cast on possibilities. And you're just going to lay it over the top and toss it over. So you're just going to lay it over like that. Toss the bottom lip over. Toss the bottom lip over. Toss the bottom. And toss the bottom. Bottom. And bottom. And you want to go back around and do it again. Now that you got 2 rows, you can untie that. And you want to continue around doing the same thing, and you want to do it a total of 10 times. So making sure you count your row, you do it 10 times. We've gone around 10 times, and we finished up at our starting point. You can go ahead and make a cut. Then you're going to take this peg here so that you can continue with the next finger, and you're going to put it either on this one or this one. It doesn't matter. Either way, you're still going to have to sew up the center of the fingers. So, to make it easier on you, you can leave it like that, but it's easier to toss over the next loop of the next finger if you switch it and turn it around. So remember, 2, 4, 6, and your ends will be 8. Like that. And if you give yourself a little bit of and then you want to tie it off here, and then this is going to be your starting point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you're going to go place over top, pull the bottom one over, bottom one over, over, over. And this that I'm doing, it makes it very tight, and it'll make it tight if you're using another kind of yarn. You don't have to double up like you do most of your looming patterns when you do this. in there. And this is going to be for female hands. There's a way of doing it for male hands. And you're going to increase the fingers. And you're going to go around again. And it acts a little differently when you do that, when you increase it to 10. Okay, pull that down. Go around, and if you want the middle finger, because this is the middle finger, if you want it to be a little bit longer, do 15, and it'll come up closer, or you can do 10. So it's up to you. You can either do 10 to 15 rows on this, and this is your middle finger. And do the same thing for your ring finger. 10 rows, and then when you go to do your last one, you want to do 7 rows for your pinky. Now that we've completed that, I've already moved this stitch over here, and you want to also move this one over as well. And I'm going to stick to one side. I'm going to stick to continue moving it too. Back side. There. You can choose to move it there, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to sew it up anyway. And then what you want to do, take that off. Oops. They fit in there quite snugly, so that's good. Alright. Remember to turn it around so it'll make it easier. You can go ahead and stuff that down there like that. Alright, to make it easier, make sure you turn it around like that. And then 2, 4, 6. Turn around like that. Go around like you had for the middle finger for 10 rows, not 15, 10, or it'll cover up the ring finger. And we'll continue from there, and then it'll work just like the first finger up here, except you're going to be doing the pinky, and it's only going to be 7 rows. And that pretty much concludes what's going to be on the finger. So let's go ahead and finish that up, and we'll go from there. Alright, we've completed our fingers. And as you can see, you got your first finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger. Now, I didn't cut the end like I had with the others, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue all the way around. Tossing that bottom one over. That includes both those that you put over there. All the ones you doubled up, you just toss them over right with it. And if that happens, push it back on and pull it back over. Oops. Push that back. Okay. And toss it over. And then you're back to an extension here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tie it this end. Just do a little knot there. And you can either choose to work them together all the way around, or you can cut the one end. I'm going to work them together. That way it's already looped in. So keep tossing over all the way around. Some of them you'll have to pull. Because the ends you'll be sewing up. Okay. Now, you've done your first row all the way around. Now what you want to do is go in and keep going around 15 times. The 15 times creates this section here. So 15 rows, just continuing just like that, and then we'll go from there. This is what we got so far, which is this section here. This is what it should start looking like. You can see all your fingers. And now we're going to, since we're back to our beginning, we're going to go all the way down to about here, and we're going to stop. And that's when we're going to start working our thumb area in. So, let's get started. So just toss it over. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And here's where we're going to work flat. So we're going to take it and we're going to work back and forth from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back and forth. We're going to do that 9 times. So now, we're going to work for the hole in the thumb. We can go through there. And this isn't as difficult as one might would think. So, what you're going to do is you're going to do 1, 2. Then you're going to go all the way to the front. Just going to toss it over. Bring it back. Toss that bottom loop over. Leave it. Come over here. Toss that one over. Toss that one over. Then you're going to lay it back down. You go back the direction you came. We've now just created our holes, so we want to close it back off, so we're just going to lay that over, and then toss that over, and then toss that over, and then we're going to go back and forth 9 more times. So here's one. And now that you've lapped it over, just pull it over like that. Keep going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll go from there. We've just worked the thumb, which you can see there's the little hole that we made. That's your thumb area. And we've done our 9 rows. Now we want to just continue around. Back to our beginning point, the pinky. Okay. Now, we're back to our beginning. And this is what it should start to look like. And it goes in. And there's your thumb area. And now what you want to do is go around, all the way around. This will be back to the beginning. That's 1. And what you want to do is you want to go around 10 times. And this will be the bottom half of the glove. You can either choose to do 15 times and then start the knit purl process, and it doesn't decrease and it doesn't make it as snug around the wrist, but that's simple if you don't want to do the decrease, and so it can just be kind of loose around the wrist. But I'm going to show with this one how to do the decrease so it's nice and snug around the wrist. So what you can do at this point, if you want to just keep it straight, you do 15. If you don't, do 10, and then we're going to start with a decrease. So go around 10 times, and then I'll show you how to do the decrease. We've now got past the thumb done. We've got 10, and we're going to start a decrease. We're at the beginning. I did my 10, and then I went ahead and continued on to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Stopped at peg 12. Now, what I like to do, now that I'm going to okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take this divider, we're going to pull that off, keep it on your hook, push it in there, and make sure you put that on there, so it's on there. Now, snap it in. This will make it easier to go in. Take this, put that there, take the bottom loop, put it over the top loop. There's your decrease, and then you take this, other side, take it, move it back 1 peg, take the bottom loop, put it over the top one. Okay, now that you've done that, you want to continue around. Back to your beginning. You want to go around 1 more back to our beginning. Okay. Go all the way to the end just before the last peg on the row. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, stop. Alright. What makes this easier is make sure that all the loops stay on, but you want to pop it out. Pop the divider out, move it back. That way you can take this off, move it back one, pull it over, go to the other side, take that last peg, move it back one, pull the bottom loop over, and then you want to continue around. And then go straight around again. Back around to our beginning, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, stop. Make sure your loops don't come off your divider. Pull it back one. Pop it into place. Take the loop back. Tuck bottom one over top. Take the other side. Pull it back one. Pull the bottom loop over the top, and then finish taking it around. Okay, we are now back to the beginning, and now that we've done our decrease, so it's going to fit snug around our wrist, we're going to start the knit purl section to give it a nice ribbing. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start that, you're going to knit one, then you're going to take the yarn, bottom of the loop, take it, push it through, pull it off, put on, toss the next one over, take the bottom, pull it under, up, over, back on. Normal purling. So knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Sometimes it'll catch. Purl, knit, and you want to continue that around. That's row 1. You want to do a complete 10 rows of the knit purl to create the ribbing at the wrist, and then we'll go from there on the cast off. Okay, we've completed down to our last 10, and we're going to cast off, and you'll need your crochet hook. Okay, this is the way I like to cast off. I know there's other ways. If there's a way that you prefer to cast off, by all means, go for it. casting off, make sure that you do this very loosely because your hand has to go through here. Okay. Put that on, pull it through. Take this off, pull it through, and pull it through. Take the next peg off, pull the loop through, make one, pull it through. Take the next one off, pull it through, make one, pull it through. And you want to do that all the way around. Got it all the way to the end. Snip it. Pull the loop all the way through. Pull it tight down. There we go. And you have it. Get your hand in there and you can kind of get a general idea of what you got. Goes through there. Now, that fits beautifully around there. You've done your decrease and you'll need to sew that up. Sew the thumb up, and then you'll need to sew the holes in between the fingers up. And then you'll either need to crochet the top, or you can go in and tighten the initial cast on. So, the way I like to do the tighten the initial cast on, because of the way this looks, now granted you'd want to crochet if you'd use maybe another yarn to clean up the lines a little bit more, but I kind of pull on it to see where my starting point is. So my starting point is going to be here, so I'm going to go the opposite direction. So I'm going to pull it through here. Pull that through there. You're going to pull the next one. You're going to pull the next one. And you're going to pull the next one. And pull the next one. And pull next one. Gets more challenge the closer you get. And pull through. And it cleans it up. And you do that for every single one, or you can crochet it to clean it up. Now that I've gone in and I've tightened up all the fingers and I've tucked them, I'm going to go in and sew up the insides. Nothing to that. And now I'm going to sew up the thumb. Also tucked the ends in on that. So sewing the thumb up is not a big deal. You find your center. Put the yarn through. And the way I do this is no different than how you do the fingers. Okay, and just sew it up. And so that I don't have to stop, I'm going to kind of send this through around to here. To the other side, and we'll finish sewing that up. Now, tie out the other side of it. Cut it. can see. It's fitted through here after decreasing. It fits around the wrist. You have your fingers open, nice and neat, sewn up in the middle, and that's how you make your fingerless gloves with the decrease. This is what it looks like without the decrease. If you don't want to do the decrease, you can just go straight on to 15 and do 10, cast it off, and do all the same things. But naturally it looks better with the decrease. It depends on the difficulty level that you want. So, there you go. That's how you make them.